I can see. Yeah, I can see it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So first thing. So I just want to tell you what is in how Oracle structures its database. I think you worked anywhere, I don't know, but how Oracle has structured its database. Do you know anything about it?
No, I didn't prepare myself. So, and it was a quite wild time that I
Okay, not a problem. How Oracle structures its database means it will be structuring its database by using physically and logically. What is that? You have a you'll be how Oracle structures its database means by physically and logically. What is a logical structure in the database? A logical thing is nothing but you can see only the tables in the database. The Oracle database structure, if you want to see any schema objects, are you going to see any schema objects only when the database is up and running up? Is it correct? As a DBA, you can start up a database and you can shut down a database. Is it that? Are you working in SQL DB also this thing? I don't know, but if you're a DBA, you can start up a database and you can shut down a database, and you can create a database also. Is it correct? Okay.
Yes.
So if you're the logical things, when can it be seen? The logical things can be seen only when the database is up and running. Is it correct?
Yeah.
What are the logical things in the database means the table spaces. Have it anytime heard about table spaces anytime? I think in 9A also it will be very good. Is it correct? So apart from that, you have what is this table space? What is the table space is nothing but it's a logical area of storage in your database that will be corresponding to one or more data files. What is that? If you see the logically, you will be seeing the table spaces. Is it correct? But it will be associated with your physical data files. What is that? Physically data files. Can you see here? Physically means what is that? What is a physical means? What is a physical? Physical structure is nothing but when you create a database, you will be creating some data files. Is it correct? First of all, you have to create a table space. For that table space, you need to create associate data files.
Okay.
Are you getting the point? So these data files, where it will be residing on the OS. Okay. So you will be seeing all the data files. Not only the data files, you will be having, when you create a database, you will be having such a called redo log files. Okay. And you will be seeing the control files. Okay. And archive log files. And a parameter file. Anytime did you hear about the parameter file? I think long back now. Okay. The server parameter file. And the last thing is, for each and every database, you'll be having an alert log and trace files. What are the things? These things you will be seeing when you create a database. You'll be seeing logically, you will create all the table spaces. Is it correct?
Yep.
Do you agree with the statement? These table spaces you will be seeing logically when the database is up and running up. Is it correct? Okay.
Yep.
And those data files, can you see here those data files? The physical structure can be seen. This you can see when the database is up and running also, and also when the database is shut down also, when you start up also, you can see the physical structure on the OS. Are you getting the point or not?
Yeah.
Okay. And not only the thing, let me tell you, I want to just clarify. I'll just again come again, but I want to just write some of the things so that you'll understand. When you can see the schema objects, the schema objects can be seen when only when the, what are the schema objects?
Table view.
Synonyms. Is it correct? So these things can be seen. When can be seen? It can be seen. All the things can be seen when the database is up and running up. Is it correct?
Yeah.
Do you agree with the statements right now? So what is the logical thing? Logical thing can be seen only when the database is up and running. Okay, when you started as a DBA, if you start a database, you can see the tables, all the views, not only the synonym, each and everything can be seen when your database is up. Okay, but the table space is also the same thing. As a DBA, you will be seeing all the table spaces in the database. Okay, but this physically files where your original data resides. For example, if you create a table space and this data files, you're adding it, even though if you create a user, if he wants to create all the data, where he stores in the data will be stored in the data files. Is it correct or not? Okay. So now, let me tell you and let me show you how you will be having so this thing I'll be using up, okay, Oracle Linux 5.8, so Oracle Linux 5.6, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is it? Can you see now screen? Can you see my screen right now? Are you well in this? Hello?
Yeah.
Are you? Okay. You are done. So let's start.
Started?
Yes, tell me.
Can you just give me 5 minutes?
Sure, not a problem.
Thanks.
Yes. So I thought I was you asked me 5 minutes now, so that's the reason why. So now I thought I'm showing you this thing now. So I'm just starting my SQL Plus as a how I'll be logging as a DBA. I'm logging to the system. Please see this thing. If you need to talk to the Oracle database, we need to start it. Okay. So can you see right now? Before that, I want to show you what are the physical structures. If I create a database, I will show my physical data files. Okay. These are in the file system. These are not in the ASM routers. Okay. So let me show you clearly. First of all, I have created nearly 2-3 databases in my machine. Okay. Can you see right now?
Yeah.
I have not started my database yet. Okay. You can check it up. But can you see these are the database files?
Yeah.
Can you see here? What are these things? These are the, when you create a database, what happens means you will be creating some of the database files. This is a system table space. This is a sysongs table space. This is a temporary table space. This is an undo table space. And these things are the user data table spaces. Can you see TS1, TS2 and user, where your original data will be residing? All the user data will be residing on these 3 table spaces. Okay. Apart from this thing, I have created 3 read log groups. Okay. Can you see here? I have created 3 read log groups and I have created a control file of my database. Okay. These things can be seen. I told you that when I haven't started my database yet. Is it correct? But I can see these things on my OS. Okay.
Yeah.
And let me start my database. What I told you, you can see what is that? I can see only my logical structure when I can see, if I start my database only, I can see my logical structure. Is it correct? But if I want to see, now I have a user called K1 user in my database. Okay. Whether I can check it or not, can you please see? Let me show you. I have a user called K1, whether I can connect the thing. Can you see here? I cannot connect it. Okay. So, sorry, I'm very sorry. This is not the thing. What is that? Can you please see the thing?
Oracle not available.
Oracle not available. Is it correct? So if I start now, just see, we are a database administrator. What is that? System database administrator. Is it correct? What is that? If you're a system database, we have to log in as a SQL plus / DBA. Can you see right now? Startup. The startup a database. What happens? Just see. Can you please read this line?
It says start the Oracle instance.
Oracle instance has been started. And what is this? Just try to system global area and the database buffer cache and read log buffer. And can you see now? What is this thing?
Database mounted.
Database mounted and database has been opened. Okay. So right now I want to show you what is logical thing in the database. Okay. So just see whether I can connect to my thing or not, my K1 user or not. Actually in this table, sorry. Can you see right now?
Yeah.
So now I can connect because I have access because as a DBA I have started my database right now. Is that correct? So what key can do when you can see the schema objects can be seen when only the database is up and running. Is it correct?
Yep.
So what he can do, a user can do, he can create a table, he can create anything. Is it correct? Now if I want to see that any tables are there in my database, I can check it up right now itself by using, if I shut down my database, whether I can see these things, I cannot see. See presented, I don't have any tables in this user right now. Okay. So now did you understand when we can see the logical things? And one more thing, I need to show you. What is this thing? Please.
Table space.
Table space name. Is it correct? What are the things you are seeing in the database right now? This how the database administrator sees these things means you will have only as a DBA you have to create this database. Can you see that? We have to create that system table space, the socks table space, and undo table space. Is it correct? And a temporary table space and a user data table space, and this all the user data table spaces. You can add n number of things. It is not a big problem with us. Okay. So, but you will be assuming that you may ask me how is the relationship between the logical thing and the physical thing. Let me show you a query so that you can see the relationship between the logical and the physical thing. Can you see right now? Clearly, can you see what is the file name? Can you see here the table space name? Is it correct? Can you see this thing? For this user data, what is the physical file? The physical file is where I have kept in U01 db1 user.dbf. Can you see here? Yeah. And for the TS2, TS1, what is the physical file? This is the physical file. In a database administrator, if I want to create a table space, I can create. If I want to create a table space, I have to create logically that particular table space. For that, logically, I have to add a physical data file to it. Okay. So how can we do that thing as a DBA? You can see how can I create it. First of all, I need to mention my logical name. Is it correct? Okay. And I need to specify my data file where I have to place my data file. Can you please see the thing? Can you see right now?
Yeah.
What I have created a table space of TS3. With that table space TS3, I have added a data file. What is that? Physical file. So that it will be residing on the OS. Let me check here whether that thing is there or not. Can you please check right now?
Yes. TS3.
TS3.dbs. Okay. Yeah. Now did you understand what is a logical thing and what is a physical data file?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let me come back again. So first of all, I just want to start the physical things in the data files. What are the data files? I think you have seen now only you'll create one or more data files. What you'll be having in that? You will be having all the database, like all the logical things will be created. For that, you'll be creating the tables, indexes, etc. in that particular data files. Okay. But can you see a diagram? Can you see this thing? Sorry, I'll be showing up a diagram thing. Can you see here what is a redo log files? Have you got any idea about the redo log files in the database?
No.
No, not at all. Okay, so right now I am taking you a picture. So that is the main you have to learn. That is the architecture for this Oracle database. Okay, let's start. Yes, can you see right now this picture?
Yep.
Up to now, what you have seen? Have you seen? I have shown you the physical data files in a database when I have created. Can you see the control files? I think I have shown you. Did you see the redo log files?
Yeah.
Yes. Now, to create a database, we need to create all these physical files. Okay. But I think I told to observe you when I started my database. Have you seen the word instance there?
Yes.
The Oracle instance has been started there. And have you seen the system global area has been allocated there?
Yeah.
Let me shut down. Again, you can see the thing so that it will be visible to you. If I start up a database, what happens? Just see. What is the thing I'm seeing up? When an Oracle instance has been started. Is it correct?
Yeah.
Can you see right now a system global area?
Yes.
Okay. What is in system global area? It is divided into three things. What is that? A database buffer cache and a redo log buffer and shared pool. Okay. We want to see, if you want to see the complete view, we can see by using the view called, sorry. Can you see right now? What is a SGA? Can you see here? I am typing SGA. Can you see here a redo log buffer? Can you see here buffer cache size? And can you see here shared pool?
Yeah.
Okay. So these are the three mandatory things that you will be creating. What is this thing means? Can you see here right now? I have started my instance. Is it correct? If an instance is started, your system global area is allocated. And what are the things are coming up? A shared pool, a database buffer cache, and a read log buffer.
Yeah.
Means what are the things? These are the SGA is nothing but your memory buffer. What is that? Your memory buffer in the sense is nothing but your RAM.
Yeah.
See, For example, if you have a database, if you want to start a database, you require some memory, some of the Oracle background process for particularly that instance. For that instance, for example, if you have a 20 GB of a database, you need to have at least 2 GB of, what is that? You need to have a 2 GB of your RAM. Okay, so that, yes, 2 GB of RAM. Because if I do any queries, why I'm doing this thing? Why I'm 2 GB of RAM for that particular instance? Why? Means, for example, if you're doing any any queries in the database, where does it go? It cannot do directly on the database. Was correct? So that's the reason why it can do only on your RAM. Okay, so this is SGI is nothing but your memory. Memory in the sense is your RAM. So as a DBA, they are allocating when you create a database, you will be allocating for this instance these parameters. What is it? These 3 parameters. These are the mandatory parameters that you need to mention in the parameter file. Okay, can you see here the parameter? Okay, this parameter file, what does it contain? Shared pool, database buffer cache, and read-log buffer. Okay, and these 3 things has to be given. In my database, I have given 800 MB of a database, 800 instance, 800 memory buffer. And can you see here some bubbles? These are the mandatory background process. Can you see now? These are the mandatory Oracle background process that will be started up. Okay, so where are they? How can you check in the Oracle database server when it is running out? On the OS side, you can check up clearly for that how many processes are being started up by pressing ps-ef. Okay, just start grep ura underscore enter. Can you see right now? We'll be telling up. Okay, PS is nothing but the process. In Windows, you'll be pressing Control Alt Del. You'll be finding all the process. But in the Linux OS, how you're going to find it? By using this thing. Okay, and I have classified into only what are the Oracle things related to running up. Okay, so can you see now what are the background processes are running up? PMON, process monitor. Okay, DB writer, log writer, checkpoint, and YesMon. Can you see now? These are the mandatory background process has to be started when you start your database. Okay, so whether they are there in this particular diagram, let me show you. Can you see now? PMON, YesMon, system monitor, database writer, log writer, and checkpoint. So these are 5 things are there in this for this to open this database. Otherwise, the database won't be opened. Is it correct? See, I think what is the next stage? In the no more stage, the instance will be allocated. There are 3 steps of in here to start. If you need to start up a database, it has to pass through all these 3 levels. Otherwise, the database won't be opened. Okay, it has to first go into the no more stage. Then the database has to be mounted, and then only the database will be opened. Okay, right now, did you understand this thing? Okay, so after that only the database will be open. Until then, the database won't be opened. Okay, now the database is open, so anybody users can do any kind of a transaction. Okay, assume now if you have any failure in your instance, what happens? It will be throwing an error. After the mounting the database, some particular file, the data is not matching in the control file. Assume now it is not matching in the control file. So it will be asking you to please recover your database. Are you getting the point? What I'm saying? It's a scenario, just a small scenario. The database and your files are not matching in the database. Okay, I think now what you're going to do as a DBA, you need to recover your database. Is it correct? How are you going to recover your database? By using, can you see here, a small box?
Archive log files.
Archive log files. By applying these archive log files, because you cannot, when your database is up and running, you cannot take a cold backup. What is that? Cold backup is nothing but you'll be shutting down your database backup and you'll take that. You have to depend upon your hot backups. When the database is up and running also, you have to take a hot backup. So these all the things, and you have to follow in this companies will be following up. Okay, but right now, why we are maintaining this log archive log files? What is this thing means? Can you see here a diagram here? This box, redo log buffer. It's a memory buffer. What does it contain actually? What does it contain means, for example, now as a DBA, now you not only DBA, I don't want to talk on the DBA side, a user has come up and he has made a query called select star from EMP. Okay, he has made a select star from here. What happens from the user process? It will be sending to a request to the server process. Okay, assume right now you don't know. I don't want to talk much about all those things. All the authentication will be done in the shared pool. Okay, in the shared pool you'll be having a shared SQL area. Okay, if the statement is available, actually if the statement has been used previously, then the statement will be given from here itself. It won't go into the data files and it won't bring the data from the data files and keeps in the buffer cache, and then it won't give the value to you. Okay, if already the statement is available, if some user has been used, then it will be throwing from the shared pool itself. Okay, but if a user, this is the first time you are using that particular statement, select star from EMP, then what happens? It will be preparing. What is a shared pool means? It will be preparing you the best execution plan. It prepares you the best execution plan for that particular statement. Okay, and it'll be pick up the most best execution plan, and it prepares it, and then it goes into the data files and brings the data from the data files and keeps in the which buffer? In the database buffer cache. Are you getting the point? Whatever the data you have picked up, it will be keeping in the database buffer cache. Now, already you have, the user has been used this thing, and now you are trying to, what is this database buffer cache? I'll be telling you right now. Just see now. Now again, you have made a statement called insert into EMP, and you have inserted nearly already 10 rows are there, and you are inserting right now nearly 30 rows in that particular table. What is that? You are inserting some 30 rows in that particular table means now whatever the data, I told you that you cannot change the data content in the data files. Is it correct? You have to access all the things into the memory. Okay, so now you are modifying the data. What is database buffer cache means? What does the database buffer cache? You will be having the previous value also, but what is you will be buffer cache will be storing the mostly recently used blocks. What are the mostly recently used blocks? That select star from the EMP is there, no? That statements also will be there. Okay. Apart from that, what are the things will be there? Means you will be having the modified blocks. What is a modified blocks means? Actually, they call it as a dirty buffer. Okay. I want to tell you that thing. Dirty buffer is, I'll talk later what is that dirty buffer. You'll be having, now you have inserted nearly 30 or 40 rows in the database. Is it correct? So those changes blocks will be available in the, what you have a modified blocks. The modified blocks are nothing but the change blocks will be available in the database buffer cache. Okay. Unless you give a commit, then only, can you see here, the database writer writes to the appropriate data files. Are you getting confused or else anything, any question you have right now? Means once you give it commit only, the database writer will be writing to the data files.
Yeah.
Okay, just give me a minute. Can you see right now?
Yeah.
What is it when you give, assume now you have given, you have a modified block. I told you, can you see here? Dirty buffer. Okay, dirty buffer means that is nothing but you have a modified block but not yet returned to disk. They tell that. Okay, those are called dirty buffers. Where it will be? It will be in the buffer cache. Okay. What are the changes you're making on the database that will be available in the database buffer cache? When you give a commit, automatically the database writer writes to the appropriate data files. Okay.
Okay.
Then actually, when you give a commit only up to that, it wait means it's a big type. Is it correct? So
Yeah.
it has to protect as a DBA. You have to protect your.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you.
Sure, no problem.
You said that when we do the commit, then it writes to the data file.
Mm-hmm.
But like some of the programmers, they don't use bigger class in the commit.
Yeah.
And the SQL, they never use this thing. They have to use this thing because it basically, when you write something into the database, the first is write to the memory, and the commit statement will going to write the memory statement to the this state. Correct?
I just yeah, you are correct, but it's one of the scenario right now. I'm just telling you because what is the happen means if a checkpoint is invoked, what happens means the checkpoint will be informed. Main thing, can you see here? Can you see a word called checkpoint? When a checkpoint is invoked means what is the role of the DB writer? It has to update all the data files because it has to inform to your control file of the database. Okay, it won't wait up. Once you give a checkpoint is invoked means what are the buffers are there? The database writer has to has to check all the data files and keeps on it, and these data file headers has to inform to the control files because that it has to maintain the database has to maintain. It won't wait also for every when 1/3 is full, it will be writing up. Okay, when 1/3 is full up, it will be writing up, and not only 1/3 is full, you have a when a checkpoint will be occurring, literally I'm telling now, when a checkpoint will be invoked, or directly it will be informing all the data to the data files. When the checkpoint will be invoked means when it could be like when 1/3 is full. When your buffer cache, can you see here? When your buffer cache is 1/3 full, automatically it writes to the particular data files. It won't wait up. But it's one of the scenario. I'm just telling you. Okay, the people need to understand. So that's the reason why. Okay, so then. Here, suddenly, assume now you have not made a commit. Assume now, okay, it's in the buffer, and the checkpoint is also not invoked. Assume that checkpoint is also not invoked. So then, what happens means suddenly your database has been crashed, and from morning 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock, what are the data is there? Now that the data will be lost. Is it correct or not? Because even the database writer may not write to the data files. If the database writer writes only in the data files, then the database file, when a checkpoint is invoked, only the database writer writes and all the things will be happening up. But if it is not invoked, then what is the problem there? So you won't get the data from that point of time from 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock. Is it correct?
Yeah.
So that's the reason why what Oracle has decided means. Can you see this thing? A redo log buffer.
Yeah, redo log buffer.
What does this redo log buffer exactly mean? Means whatever the changes, I think in the EMP table that we have inserted nearly 30 to 40 rows. Is it correct? 30 to 40 rows have been inserted. So whatever the changes you are making in the database, that will be recorded in the redo log buffer. Okay, what is that? It will be capturing all the changes that you are making in the database that will be recorded in the redo log buffer. That redo log buffer, can you see here? Log writer?
Yeah.
The log writer will be writing to the redo log files. Can you see right now?
Yeah.
What is it? Can you see the word here, please? That's the reason why I'm just telling up for each and everything. Okay. Can you see here?
Yeah.
When at a commit or else when 1/3 is full, can you see a word?
Before DB
Writer writes. DB writer. Okay. DB writer writes. Before DB writer writes, what is the read log buffer? Means it captures all the changes you have made in the database that will be captured by the read log buffer. Actually, read log buffer is nothing but a circular buffer, they call it as. that I'll be talking in the further classes. Right now, I don't want to talk much about it. Okay, the long letter it will be writing to that particular reader log files, and still it is in the database. Is it correct? Okay.
Yeah.
So, and these things will be to protect your database. What we have to do, we have to make into the archive log location. Can you see right now? These reader log files will be writing into the archive log location. Okay, so let me show you a small diagram so that you'll be understanding it. Yeah, can you see right now?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. What is that? Can you see this thing? The reader log files will be, can you see this thing? Archiver, which is an optional background process, okay, will be invoked, will be keeping all the data into the reader log files. Okay, and you have to keep your database in the archive log mode. If you won't put your database in the archive log mode, you cannot, the database won't be going into this archive log files. Okay, that thing. So when your database has been crashed, so you can recover your database by using this archive reader log files. Okay. Any question or any? Do you have any question right now?
Okay.
Yeah. I want to tell you the last point. Can you see here? I need a background process that is called a checkpoint. When a checkpoint is invoked, actually what happens means it will be informing the database writer, please update all the data file headers. Means what does that means? It has to write all the data files, and it has to know that in each and every data file will be having a data file header will be there. In that header, you'll be having all the SCN numbers. That SCN numbers has to inform to that control file. Okay, I'll be telling up the one what it has to inform to the control file. If it doesn't inform, then if any problem has been done, then you'll get a problem with starting up a database. Okay. Okay. So this is the checkpoint. When a checkpoint will be invoked, it will be signaling the database writer first. Okay, please write all your and update your all database headers and just inform to the checkpoint again. The checkpoint will be invoking again to the control files and inform it. Okay. And apart from this thing, I want to talk about a last thing. In my date, can you see right now? This is the thing I want to talk. That is nothing but the control file of your database. What is a control file? Do you know this thing or not? Have you heard in 99 database like this? I think you have worked in database 99. You would have known that what is the control file of the database. No?
No,
okay, not a problem.
I know those files, but not remember.
Okay. What I was saying, you see, can you see here control file? I want to tell you now, you have to learn in such a thing that if a control file is not there in the database, nothing is there. Okay, each and every information in the database, what you're doing in the database, each and everything will be kept in the control file. What does it contain actually? The control file contains is a binary file. Let me tell you clearly, you cannot open that file and you can see it. You cannot edit it. Okay. What is that? It's a small binary file. It will be when you create a database, it will be there in your particular database. Okay. What does it contains? It contains like all the information about your database. What kind of information? Your database name, database ID. Okay. And when you have created the database, the timestamp of your database, not only the database thing, you'll be having information like how many totally table spaces are there. For that table spaces, how many data files are there, and even how many data files are there, they'll be pointing up how many reader log files are there. Okay, and one more thing, how many? For example, now if you take an example of reader log files, you will be having up what are the members, what are the size groups, what are their size, their full name, the sequence number, each and every information will be available in the reader log files. Okay, and data file. As you have now data files, you'll be creating up database files. Database files, their size, their name path, their etc. All the things will be there. you'll be having, if you take a backup in the database, that kind of a backup from the, when he has taken a backup, that thing also will be written in the control file. And the most important thing I want to tell you first thing, you have a data files. I told you that when a checkpoint will be invoked, what is that? The database writer has to inform to all the header files. Is it correct? Now, let me tell you clearly. I want to tell this thing because they need to understand without the control file, a database is not there anything. Okay. So that's the reason why I just want to take some time here. Okay. The control file will be having in the data files from which SCN number to from which SCN number the database in the data file. Assume now the TS1 table space is there. In that TS1 table space, you have a data file called ts1.dbf. Okay. In that ts1 data dbf, from where to where the data are there. From this SCN number to this SCN number. From this SCN number to this SCN number. The data is there. It has to write all these things. Okay. Why it will be writing means, for example, right now, I want to show you a small diagram. Is it okay with you? Can I continue the thing or else?
No, for me it's good. I just go back.
Yeah. Can you see this thing?
Yes.
Yeah. This is, I told you there are three. If you need to start a database, what are the 3 steps you have? You have the 3 steps. You have to, when you give a command, I think I have given a command called startup. Do you remember that thing? How I started my database? I have given a command, a startup button. Means it has to pass to all the 3 states. Can you see that now?
Yeah.
It has to pass all the 3 states. Then the database won't be open. Otherwise, the database won't be open. Okay. So right now, can you see the first stage? What happens?
First, let's go to the no stage.
What is happening? Instance has started. What is instance? Your system global area plus Oracle background process will be started. Means memory capture will be done here in this stage. Okay. It will be allocating the memory plus Oracle background process will be started. There is no relationship. There is no, up to now, it has not checked what is the database. It doesn't know what is the thing is going on right now. Okay. Apart from that, it will be this thing. Then what happens? It will be passing up to the next thing, the mount stage. Can you see it? Please read this line.
Control files open for the system.
What does that mean? Where you'll be having this control file? How it knows? How the instance knows whether this has where you have this control file? Because when you start up your instance, you'll be by using the, how can you start up your instance? By using the parameter file. In the parameter file, you will be mentioning your memory buffers. Is it correct? SG_target. Okay. Nothing but your shared pool, your log buffer and database buffer cache. You'll be giving all these things in the parameter file. There, in the parameter file, you will be giving the location of your control file. Okay. So now the instance knows that where my control file is there. It goes there and reads that particular control file of your instance. Are you getting the point? Okay.
Yeah.
Once where it will be reading up, it will be reading in the mount stage. Once the control file is read, what does the control file contains now? It knows in the control file you will be having each and every information I told you. Is that correct? What is the name? What is the database ID? Okay. And what is the timestamp of the database creation? And it knows how many data files are there, how many read log files are there, from which SCN number to which SCN number the data has been there. Okay. It will be checking up. Now, from the database to mount stage to open stage, can you read this thing, please?
All files open as described by the control file.
Okay, all files will be opened as described by the control file for this instance. Means it will be matching the control file, whether it will be going to the particular database location. Okay, so whether all the data files are there in that location or not. Okay, now all the data file locations are there in that particular respective locations. Okay, so then what checks it up? It checks from whether the data is available in that from this SCN number to this SCN number, from this SCN number to this SCN number. If the data is there, then the database will be open. But assume now, if the data is not there, if the data is not matching, from this where the control file it's not matching the data in the data files and here. Then after the mount stage, the database will be throwing an error that from this location to this location, which table space needs recovery. So it will be throwing an error there. So at that time, you need to recover your database by applying those archive logs, and you have to recover your database. So this is the thing will be happening in the, if you get any error, you have to recover by using your archive read log files, applying those archive read log files, in which stage you need to apply the archive log files in the mount stage of your database. Where you can recover your database, you need to recover your database in the mount stage. This is the thing I just want to tell you. So if you have any questions, you can raise me right now.
No. No question.
Okay. So that's the thing today for this session. You can inform Mr. I don't know, my consultant. Okay. You can inform him how you like this demo. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Karthik.